What's up, bro?
What's up with it, man?
It's been a while since we sat down. And the last time we sat down, a nigga like me didn't even press record. So we got some shit to catch up on. Some life to talk about. Some current events. All that. Some food to eat. This shit's fire.
To eat.
But yeah, what's this?
This is breaking the fast.
This is breaking the fast, and we finna. I've already broken that motherfucker. But we finna break this fast, and we finna have some conversation.
Yes, sir. Y'all know what we here to do. We got food. We got weed.
We got good vibes. So since the last time I seen you, what's something that's really been like big or prevalent or?
Bro, I'm still on this same journey, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Just standing in what I believe, no matter what. Like, it's funny. Something that rings off in my head daily is I'll cut my granny off if she don't see it how I see it.
Hey, that just stood out to me. Because you know how black people feel about their granny.
Yeah.
That's been a bar for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been having to exercise that?
I don't believe I've had to cut anybody off, but I've definitely had to stand on shit when I didn't see eye to eye with people that I love.
Difficult.
Very difficult. Because I feel like when you're the person that wants to resolve whatever the issue or miscommunication is, the easiest thing to do is apologize.
For sure. Take fault. Take accountability for something you're not even accountable for, or something that's not even like valid. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do anything wrong. You just kind of had a opposing viewpoint, and
We just disagree.
But that's been told that that's wrong. That's been taught that someone disagreeing with you is wrong. That or people feel like that's an attack. Like, nah, bro, we're all individuals. And sometimes we think differently.
That's the best part.
That's how we get to grow. If we all thought the exact same way, we'd be stagnant. Remember the episode of Philly Our Parents when he was everybody looked alike? And everybody was like gray
Everybody was
vibes?
gray.
He didn't know what was going on. He made that pink hat.
Bro, everybody knew it was him, though. That's the craziest part. It's like, oh, nigga, that's Timmy.
Somebody in the background said, let's bring him up. He said, let's bring him up. Like, bruh.
Which that's just crazy because that's what society does to us.
That's society.
Like, literally.
He's different. He's threatening the status quo because he's not the same as us. But y'all just sheep.
You don't believe what we believe? You're not American.
Y'all don't even believe what y'all believe, bro. You believe whatever's best for your survival. And that's whatever they tell you to believe in, because if you don't, they just gonna get rid of you. But that's
Literally.
For real, they can get rid of you. One way or another.
What about you, though? What's something...
Man, I've been all over the place. I feel like I'm experiencing like rapid growth lately, and growing pains. Is it pains or is it pangs? I never really.
I think it's pains
With a G?
with an S.
Like pain, like hurt.
Pain like hurt.
Okay.
Because there is no rapid growth without pain, is what I've discovered in life. Whether it's a growth spurt where you, over the summer, you grow 6 inches.
My knees don't hurt.
Yeah.
For a little bit. Type shit.
Or going through an evolution in your beliefs. And it's like, damn, all the pain that comes with that, losing people,
Losing
self-identity.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like losing what you thought was.
Yeah.
Like, people, you can grieve things that weren't even alive. Like intangible things like.
So is that my big son? Like, bro.
What happened?
I'm thinking that's the little kids back there bumping. That's the big nigga.
The big guy. But people be grieving like the lives they thought was for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or the lives that they had that they now have to alter for what they truly want out of life. And it's like, been having to grieve that. Like, man.
And we've been doing that without kids, bro. That's crazy.
It's tough, man.
Because, like, I think kids are the biggest conduit of that.
Of, like, sacrificing your life?
About what you just described. Everything just kind of changing, your desires changing, what you identified as becomes something different once you become father, once you become mother. Because now you're not just living for your purpose. Now you still trying to accomplish whatever purpose you've been sent here for, as well as foster and help someone else on their journey.
So, few things.
Purpose.
You know, I don't believe in purpose, but I do believe in like having a calling, and I feel like
I think calling is a better word for what I'm describing.
So it's more autonomous. Like I feel like purpose we do. Okay, let me clarify. It's not that I don't believe in purpose. I think purpose is irrelevant because we all have the same purpose. We're just swapping words up. I don't think purpose is what we as a community or as a society, as a whatever the fuck, are advertising it as. Our purpose, we can't deviate from that. We can't choose that. We can't not do it. We can't decide to do it. It's just our existence will radiate our purpose, no matter what we do. And we talked about that before. But the calling is something you feel drawn to, that you believe either you're the only person or one of the few people capable of accomplishing this thing for the betterment of whatever the fuck. Whatever your reason is.
It's like responsibility versus duty.
Yeah, for real. Responsibility versus duty.
I have a duty to be a good friend. It's not necessarily my responsibility to anybody.
So explain. I don't believe in
good or bad friend.
Good and bad is kind of making its way out of my vocabulary.
That's what's up.
What is the biggest difference between duty and responsibility for you?
Calling. Like what?
So let me take a guess. So responsibility, right, in the sense of like the friendship context, will be something maybe you like declared or agreed or signed up for.
Yes.
I'm responsible for this because this is my word and I said I would. Versus duty being, I see something or I see a situation where if I place myself in it or place what I believe is the right thing to do, it will better. Because that's what I think is the best situation. It's not that I'm obligated to do so. It's not that I exclaim that I will. It's not that someone else expects me to do it. It's because I expect myself to do whatever you're going to do in situations like that. That's what duty. So it's internally driven. No one can give you duty.
Yeah, like, just to bring her into the conversation. Tasha, hey baby.
No.
My wife, my lovely.
Our first guest.
The tea maker. But,
The tea maker.
I have a duty to validate her because we're in a relationship that's something that I feel is necessary for me as her man, is to make sure she feels validated. Whether it's emotionally, whether it's needing support in becoming a yoga teacher or making candles, what in whatever way. Because I've decided to be your man, these are the responsibilities that I've bestowed upon myself. It's not that I'm necessarily responsible for it, but
I believe
it's my duty.
So duty is more like expectation.
Self-expectation.
For self, yeah.
For self.
For sure. Yeah.
You signing yourself up for something.
Exactly.
Because you believe that's what's right.
Versus being placed in a situation and if you don't do this, if it ruins everything. You don't do you don't do this and it
the
dies.
detriment or the success of something.
You don't water a plant and it dies. That's not a duty. That's your responsibility as someone caring for this plant, is to make sure it lives.
Because that's the goal.
Yes, exactly.
I want to like double back because you were talking about purpose. So, Joe, do you feel like purpose is like to exist is your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have a calling?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So it's like our calling is like, how do you choose to be an example of the purpose that you can't deny? That's where the free will comes in.
For sure.
Because purpose is like, bro, like, purpose is the reason you were created,
Mm-hmm.
or reason something is created. What's your purpose? That means we can't decide our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Only what created us knows what our purpose is. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But we can choose a calling, because down here in this nature, there's a lot of things we can accomplish. There's a lot of knowledge we can seek. There's a lot of answers we can find and provide if that's what you choose to do.
For sure.
But you're going to be in your purpose no matter what.
For sure. And it's a very like human and American thing to think like we could
Everybody
be,
has a different purpose.
well, not even just that, but that we could be more purposeful than what we already are existing as. You know what I'm saying? That we don't even like take
It's a trap.
of like
It's a trap.
what it takes to even exist. Like
It's going to make you feel like having like that type of like trajectory or aim. You're going to have imposter syndrome.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you'll ever be able to escape it. You're never going to be fulfilled, because you're not even going to be certain that you're fulfilling the right thing. You're always going to be questioning, because who's going to come down or walk up to you and give you a certain answer of what your purpose is if you believe in that route?
Mm-hmm.
No one. Absolutely no
Ain't no
one.
Sky Daddy.
And he ain't coming out. And he ain't coming out to tell you if there is one, because it's not important. That's not even what we should be thinking about, because we don't have to think about it. He took that away from us.
We
She,
already
he,
did.
they, whatever created us. Y'all don't even worry about it, because you can't deviate from it anyway. Just do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's all.
Dang. Just do what you gonna do, because you can't deviate from it anyway.
You can.
So, this is a funny question. But with like yin yang,
For sure.
it's like, do you feel like in free will, so if everything is duality,
To
free
us.
will, to us. But to us, on a greater level, do you feel like free will versus predestination is technically like the same thing, according to what you just said? Like, if we was gonna choose something, we was gonna choose it anyway.
So it gets tricky because you gotta start considering a bunch of stuff when you want to find the answer to this. Because free will, like many things, I don't think we have a fully understanding of it. We have a romantic view of it. And free will
I
just
can
means
do what I want.
yeah, like whatever I want, and no consequences unless they're the consequences I think. It's like, no, free will is operating how I please inside a predestination.
Okay.
But the predestination is so fucking broad
Yeah.
that it looks almost like the possibilities are endless to us.
Yeah.
Because essentially they are. We don't even understand the box we're in.
Yeah.
Because also the box is continuously expanding.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I believe in both, but I believe of them in the sense of, to scale it down, God basically is like, man, here are 5 choices. Your job is to just choose one, and you can't not choose. But at least you get to choose. You know what I'm saying? That's what free will is.
Yeah.
It's like, nigga, not everybody's gonna go through that door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through the 4th door, bro. I'm gonna go through the 5th door. We gonna still go through it.
Yeah.
Type shit. We can't help but not go through the door.
So the predestination is going through a door.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel
But
like
the free will is the choice to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when we make a choice, I feel like God be like, okay, that's the choice you made. Now, whatever the predestination is, I'm gonna line it up in the way of your choice. Versus like before it was already lined up in this way, but you decided to go this way and make this choice. So now we're gonna line it up over here because, like you're saying, there's so many different possibilities. To where it's like you make a choice and the universe, God, whatever, is like, okay, cool. So we're going over here. I still need to lead you this way. But now we're going to lead you, like you said, going through this door versus that door, but we still going to the same place ultimately. Yeah.
Dang, that shit reminded me of that episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they battling the twins.
Oh, the Paradox Twins. That niggas was weird.
Bro, they was twins.
That was a funny ass.
Why was everybody bald weird in anime back in the day?
Because being bald is a disgrace, I guess. In Japan, nigga, every bald nigga weird. Like, hey, he bald? Fuck. So check me out. In the context of free will, so, and in like the yin and yang and stuff, so I don't even know if it's intentionally or not, but just separating things to understand them, and then putting them back together. I call it reverse engineering, but you call it whatever. You know what I'm saying? I believe we are the only creation by whatever created us that has free will. And by that I mean like we are unbound. We have bodies in nature. We have bodies in spirit. These are just vehicles. We're borrowing them. Our soul isn't attached to either or. That's what free will means to me as well. Versus animals, they have souls. I think animals have souls. They don't have spirit. Their soul is bound to their bodies.
Thanks.
Very responsible of you. Alright. But yeah, so like animals are bound to their bodies, right? They're bound to intuition and reaction and pain and all those things that exist in the natural, right? And then you got like spiritual beings like angels or demons, if you want to call them that. The spiritual beings that exist on the spiritual side, and their soul is bound to the spirit itself, bound to order, bound to emotions, thoughts, bound to beliefs, bound to God directly, or the masculine side of God. And it's like, we are such an anomaly. We just don't look like it because there's a bunch of us around each other, but that's free will. We can disregard pain if we choose to. We can disregard emotions if we choose to. We can disregard our beliefs. All of that, because we have the choice to do so. So I think that's also like a good example of how we have free will, even if the ending is predestined.
It's crazy that you're just saying that, just the example that you're using, because we've been exploring and just watching like our pet, like our cat.
Mm-hmm.
So she got poisoned and.
Damn, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, she's good now.
Okay,
she recovered. Yeah. We good. She's still alive. Yeah, Luna.
Yeah,
so, bro. Luna got poisoned while we were on our last trip, and when we came back, we were just noticing, like, damn, like we got her in this house. She don't get to run free and do instinctually what a wild animal would do.
To heal itself.
Yeah. And there is no free will in having owners constantly checking on you to make sure you're okay. There is no free will in putting you in a carrier, taking you to a vet, getting you examined. Like just all the places where we have stripped her of her wildest instincts, even taking out her ovaries, like, well, what the hell? Like, yeah, she don't yeah, we don't have that problem of having to worry about our cat going out and coming back pregnant or anything.
So I have a rebuttal to that. I do believe that, like the things you claim, like putting them in the cage, having her indoors, and blah 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 blah. It could be seen as interference, but I think because it's like, in order to truly survive something like that, you have to adjust, and adjusting with free will and free thought is much easier. But I feel like animals have their own way of adjusting. It's just much slower. And it's called evolution. Their bodies adjust for them without even intentional thought or whatever. Because I'm just here. I'm attached to this body, and we're gonna live and die with this body. So the body was like, the body is the soul for animals. We're gonna change to survive. And I think domesticated cats have adjusted to survive inside homes. Maybe not inside cages or whatever. It depends on the cat. But I don't think you're completely cutting your cat off at the legs by having it indoors and instead of outdoors. Maybe it's affecting it for sure because, like you said, there's things that they were placed outdoors when in creation from whatever, and there's things outside that they'll instinctively go to in certain situations because it grows naturally. And things don't grow naturally here. But if your cat has been here since conception or long enough, it'll probably start to find what it can use, just instinctively. But like I said, like maybe it's not all the way because it's artificial. Where was I going with that? I lost it.
You got it.
I lost where I was going with that. So I wouldn't feel. Honestly, I think what the point was, I wouldn't feel too bad about it because we're also, as individuals with free will, I don't know if it's responsibility or duty, but when someone doesn't have something you have, it's love to do it in their stead. You just gotta understand the balance between love and interference. But it's just like, man, if you're biblical, if you want to get biblical, our job is to not only reproduce and live and exist. They said we're supposed to be down here and watching over the animals because they don't have the free will to care for themselves in a situation where they have to actually think and adjust like we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's if we know what's best for them. Yeah. So I think it's half and half there. We also have responsibility over certain animals, if not all, but we also have the responsibility to allow them to be their truest self and where they belong. We interfere with a lot of shit just because we want to, not because it's necessary.
Even where this house is located. This used to be.
But the fact that the house itself.
The house itself.
You're like, man, we want this. We want more security. We want a bigger space. We want more luxury. I'm gonna build a house. Yeah. Like, we didn't need it, but we did it. Now it's interfering. But that's also part of existing. We're gonna interfere with shit because we are the movers. We're the seekers and we're the movers. The world is changing always, and typically we're the catalyst in the center of it. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we're supposed to be. People say, oh, humans are the virus. Or maybe we're just part of nature.
Yeah, we're the center of the universe.
I wouldn't be against it.
I was going to say, I feel like with everything you're saying, like adaptation and all of that, I feel like that exists in all of us because we're also animals as well. We just operate on a more conscious level.
Our bodies.
Like a different, like we're able to separate consciousness from our subconscious from, you know what I mean? Whereas, like you said, an animal is just instinctual.
So you can be animalistic. You can be a monster. Yeah. You can also be an angel. You can be, you know what I'm saying? Like we have the choice. Yeah. That cat, nigga, it's gonna be an animal. It can't choose to be like, no, I'm gonna be a human. That angel, that spirit, that agent of God, you know, those creations, they can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna be a cat today. No, No, unless it's part of their order or design.
Right.
It's like, nah, they're bound to that. We're unbound.
Yeah.
We got so much possibility, bro. Like,
Damn.
And I feel like we do have like a primal, like they're talking about different energy bodies and all of that. Like, we do have like a primal level, like you said, to like reproduce and like survival mode. Like when we go into survival mode, that's our instincts.
breathing, swimming, balance. Our bodies, like animals, do things on its own too, and we can just sit back and enjoy the ride. Or we can go into manual operating mode. Some people it's harder for others, but it's just like, bro, we got the best of both worlds, and then we also got a third world that's born from it, from being free will.
I gotta say, going manual.
For real?
No, like-
manual.
No, like-
that's a real place to be.
Like when you saying that, and it just made me realize how often I'm in manual and not in auto. Like I probably wake up in auto just out of duty to feed my family and get things
What's
done.
the root word of manual?
Man.
Bro, in which the semantics, it's our job once you mature from boyhood to manhood. Part of that is sacrificing the things where intuition takes place, where the autopilot takes place, because men have to have intention.
Yeah.
We gotta have clear goals and beliefs and all that, and that takes getting out of autopilot because we gotta manually find it. Women and children, women more than children have to get some autonomy too. Children benefit from being dependents. I can be an autopilot because Pops is in manual.
Yeah, like if you ask a kid why, it fucks their whole brain up. Like they sit. I watch it every day. They
But
just
guess what?
stand there.
They gonna ask you why. They gonna ask
They
you
gonna-
why.
yeah, they gonna ask you
You're
why.
supposed to have the why, man. Why?
But when you ask them, hey, why'd you do that? They literally will just stare at you. Cause it's like,
If you want to be a trustworthy and reliable leader, right? And I put those words in front of it because I don't think there's a whatever for being a leader. But if you want to be that kind, you always got to know your why and how. For every what. Because every what has a why and how. You just got to know it.
yeah.
Because then when it comes down to people needing convincing or understanding of why you're doing things or why you're directing them or instructing them to do things, that why and how is going to shut you down every time because you're going to give them the understanding, you're going to give them the security. A lot of people tell people what to do, like out of dictatorship or dictation, without explaining because they feel like, one, they're either above explanation or they don't even have an explanation themselves. And people are not going to follow you. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to follow you. And they're not going to trust that they can follow you. Because nobody's going to follow someone that they think, nigga, you don't even know what you're doing. I can not know what I'm doing by myself. What's the saying? I can do bad all by myself. That's facts, bro. I'm not going to come over here to do bad. The only reason I should attach to something if it's better in me. Because I can do it bad by my fucking self, bro.
I think it's very funny that you're saying these things, and these are things that I think back daily. And
Me too, bro. It's a fight.
Yeah, like every day is a fight. Even in trying to find a woman, which I mean you can speak more to than I can at this point.
Yeah.
But like, so I was just having a conversation with my cousin the other day.
Is he going?
Yeah. When we ready?
I'm ready.
All right, say less.
So he's gonna level up on his hoe.
So this is Do-si Do. This is
Do-si-do.
This is one of the strains that is in peanut butter souffle, which is almost ready, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, this is Do-si Do. But I was having a conversation with my cousin the other day.
Do-si Do was like really popular in like what 2021,
Yeah.
2020. It was really popular.
And we were.
It's crazy that I know that now. Like I can say facts like that shit now.
I think that's fire. I love it. So we'll get back to that in a second. I low-key think you open it up to smoking weed honestly just leveled up your knowledge and your personality even more. Like a lot of people need the weed for the personality, with your personality and the attributes that you already acquired before smoking just elevated it to another level because you have more things to talk about now.
Check me out. This for everybody out there. You don't need weed for nothing. Even if you think so, even if you believe it with your whole heart, you don't need it. You strongly want to.
Believe in the power of this shit, but you don't need it.
Like many other tools, and not even for everybody, but like many other tools, this is just an acceleration. This is just a crutch. This is just a help to do things that you're already capable of. This weed is not going to help you magically be capable of things that you aren't overnight. You know what I'm saying? It depending on who you are, it may provide you with things that will benefit your acceleration. And people become addicted to the convenience. And they start to tell themselves I need it, because if I need it, I don't got to convince myself or justify why I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need weed, but it's okay to admit that you desire it and that you want it and that you find it useful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Be on the side of it. Be on the right side of it.
But we were speaking on this girl that he was courting, and
B?
No.
I was like, who's
my cousin.
Oh,
yeah, no, we were speaking on a woman that he was courting, and
I'm gonna stop it here.
No, that shit is funny to me. That shit is hilarious, and it was a very you know how men talk to each other. It was very few words. It was, "Hey, is that, baby? Are you partaking?"
No.
Okay. It was, "Hey, is that still a thing?" And it was, "Nah, it's not." And then my next question, which is a universal question, if you really think about it, is, "No, not what happened." She didn't see the vision, and it's like, "Nah, she didn't." It's like, all right, we don't have to talk any more about it because she didn't see where you're trying to take it,
or she did see it and
she
didn't like
it.
With it. Yeah, and you just gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let it go. Let her go. Because holding on to it, you holding on to it, or her holding on to it, is just gonna impede you. Because you're never gonna get the intended results.
I spent a lot of time impeding myself.
I understand, bro. I did too.
Just it's just crazy because even me saying it now versus saying it how I was saying it before, finding a woman that likes you is totally different from finding a woman you like.
So check it out. We not supposed to be finding women.
You said this before.
We're not. Women are supposed to find us, and we're supposed to pick, if we have options to pick from, the ones that pick us, because then the values will always align. She's the chooser. We are not the chooser. No matter how bad we want to be, because our wants and needs for a committed relationship or a marriage differ. And because of the difference, that's what puts us in those positions. She's seeking to attach herself or assist someone who's chasing a lifestyle or chasing a goal that could provide her with the lifestyle she wants. That means she got to get a little bit more specific. We are welcoming anyone who can effectively accelerate us or help us. That makes things a bit more broad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not looking for specific things because you can you do this job?
Yeah, you can do this job differently. Versus a woman wants a specific man. There are
and they have the freedom to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't need a man.
There's that for sure. Neither
of us need each other in that sense, like to be attached. We need just the entirety, like as a whole.
Well, to survive and for companionship and to accelerate things is two different things. Companionship and accelerating desired goals is completely different from survival.
Women need family, men need community.
And vice versa.
Mm-mm.
Okay, tell me why not first.
So for starters, I like these lions a lot because I feel like the social dynamic between a lion's pride is the closest to humans when it comes to like
Yes, for sure.
But I'm also going to say not everything aligns perfectly. It's just a metaphor. So I'm using and a pride. Once a male born cub reaches a certain age, he has to go. And they do so instinctively. It's not like, oh, that's the law. Yeah. Like, nah, get out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm leaving. Not even get out. I'm leaving.
Exactly. Because you have to go trudge your own path out in the wild. You got to figure out what kind of lion you are. You got to figure out what kind of man you are. Separate from your father, from your mother, from all that. Because it's about doing things manually. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that being said, we don't need, or we shouldn't feel like we need someone above or beneath us that has authority over us or from us, because that takes away from individualism. We can allow him, we can welcome him in out of love, and that's from beneath, not from above. We should never have above, because then you're still a child. But we need to look around because it gets lonely in the wild. We are not at war with other men because we all have our own separate goals, but because of that, we can understand other men. That's why we need community. Boys need mentorship, men need community. Boys need to learn how to stand on their own. Men need to see that I'm not the only one trying to stand on my own. You know what I'm saying? That helps them keep going. Women, on the other hand, they have a desire for security. And because of that, they believe everyone deserves the same, similar security. I want family that I have authority over so I can protect them, or feel like I can protect them, because that validates me, and that validates my ideologies of my perspective of life. I need a family.
See, I feel like that can really go either way. Because I feel like before, whether you're male or female, I feel like before children or a partner is introduced, there is, the wild man aspect that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But there's also the wild woman aspect. And as a wild woman, you're really a lot more unhinged than a man would be. In reality, they have just kind of made us sit pretty and sit with our mouth, like close your mouth and don't have an opinion and be a mother and all of that. But when you look beyond that, when you look back into the primal aspects of things, the woman is really most primal, just because we bring
women. You're not wild or primal. You're just feral.
Yeah.
Men, not boys, not male, but men, people who have reached that spiritual level of individualism, can never be wild, can never be feral, because you are the agent of order itself.
For sure.
A lot of things that comes down is women trade their chaotic autonomy for security. All these things, being a mother, being a wife, that job from those things, or working in the workforce, or being in places where you choose to be silent or quieter, it typically should be for the betterment of your life, right? It became conditioned and taught as standard instead of as choice. But what it should be is, I'm choosing this because domestication provides me with something I'm seeking. Cats domesticated themselves. We didn't domesticate cats. They said, if I go over there and be a good cat, I don't have to waste energy hunting. I don't have to. Yeah. I don't have to fight for myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to They chose that.
They're just gonna do things for me. I watch Luna do
That's
every
the
day.
same thing.
Man, these studios.
Boys are like dogs, girls are like cats. It's like, it sounds silly, but there's a sophistication to it, for sure. Women historically did domesticate themselves. The lines have blurred a little between like oppression and choice, but it's like, but that's always been how it happened. They don't have to be here. They want to be here because they want the security without the exhausted effort of providing for themselves. So now I need certain things for that. I don't need it for survival. I don't need it to sustain myself. I need it for my goal. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this stuff is instinctual. It's just like part of it. But when you don't explain the why and how to the what's, it looks like oppression. Or bigger oppression than it actually is. It looks like...
No, it looks like oppression versus it's not.
No, I'm saying like sometimes it is oppression. You know what I'm saying? But it's less likely than what's been told. But I don't understand why
oppression or suppression.
What's the difference?
I feel like oppression is emotional. I believe oppression is emotional.
I don't know. But either way, it's just about not understanding. And you can't be at peace with something you don't understand. You can tell a child all day, this, that, boom, 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 boom. You're going to be the bad guy if it's something they don't want and they don't understand how it betters them. And with children, sometimes it don't even matter if I know how it betters me. I don't want it. You're a bad guy. That's mostly what it is. It's mostly what it is.
Because they don't have foresight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exist in the present. That's one of the downfalls of existing and being a present existing being is you don't see the future we're going to. I just see the moment. But then as forward thinking individuals, you gotta have the resilience to be like, she gonna be done complaining once we get a little further. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. But when you love somebody, it gets hard. It gets hard because you wanna put the bottle in the mouth and stop the harm immediately. And that's interference.
Ooh, that's a really good, like, just interference period and everything you've been saying. It's like, how many times do we feel like we're helping and we're really, like, taking somebody's life lessons from them? Like, sometimes that crying, per se, or whatever it is that you're experiencing, somebody else isn't meant to save you from. It's something that you're supposed to experience to learn.
And I think that's the gift you get from parenting, is you get practice shaping that discernment of when this is needed and not. And that's why usually the later children have better upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been learning in the field type shit. But now my discernment is a little better. I know when to interfere. I know when not. I know what you'll get from this, and I'll get to decide is that the intended result that I want, and I get to try again. Unfortunately, the first one got a little rough, but for sure.
But we humans raising humans.
You gotta give yourself grace.
There's no perfect. Any perfect that we imagine in our brains is literally just an idea that doesn't actually exist. Because even what perfection is to me is drastically different from what perfection is to you, to him, to the kids. So it's like it just really doesn't exist. You
that means it does exist.
Progress. It exists.
But it's not what we think it is.
Exactly.
It's intangible.
We are so used to living under a universal law system that we think we're supposed to share everything. Right?
Bro, no, wrong. For me, listen, so like, bro, I think there's a difference, like you said, when you're the oldest and you have siblings, the last thing you thinking about is sharing, my nigga. Like,
that's not what I meant by sharing.
No, I know what you mean though. Like, what I'm saying in general is I'm very private. Even around the house, I've had to develop the humility to talk to my family when I don't have the energy, when I'm not in a good mood, when I'm frustrated. Like, these are things that I've had to find space for. And not only that, I'm very bad at social media. like I just, like, there's all these places in my life where I am not the sharing part. I skipped that part for some reason. I don't know what happened to me, but I didn't pick up that universal rule.
So this is
that
what
sharing is caring.
I mean, we are under this universal law, and you can be Americans or whatever government system that you exist under, that we conditioned to believe that we're supposed to share everything. And I mean, like, your perfect is supposed to be my perfect. Her perfect is supposed to be our perfect. And every other perfect. And that's what made perfect impossible. Is that idealistic, that's a standard and not an individual preference. Perfect is preference. Think they sound like. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why perfect can exist. You can do something perfectly if that's exactly how you want it to do it.
Yeah.
It's perfect then. We're told perfect means without flaw. No, we're flawed beings. Even our perfection is flawed. We can't even imagine an unflawed perfection.
Yeah.
But they twist words. And they misteach words.
Yeah, that's
And you know what I'm saying? And that fucks up us spiritually. The spirit expresses itself with language. That's the only way for the spirit to express itself, our spirit, soul, whatever, ego, to the natural world, to another soul, egos, is through language.
You think so? I think that we express more energetically than we ever do through language. Like, I think that language is a format, because we live in this physical world, and like you said, it's spirit being housed in a vessel in many different ways. So in order to, like, comprehend and understand things, we put it into a language that is comprehensible. But at the end of the day, how much is lost in translation even when you speak the same language? I feel like energetically, there's so much more communicated, but most people are not tapped into those other energy bodies that you was talking about. Like, I could read you like a book without you saying anything, and anybody could do that. Any human could do that. Is capable of doing that, but most of us don't tap into that level of consciousness to understand. So language is, honestly, to me, is almost like, when I say low, it's not in like a negative connotation, but just the lowest form of communication. It's the most grounded form of communication. But things are constantly communicating all the time. You're communicating by the way you're sitting and the way, you blinking and, all of these different things. Like,
So check me out. What's language to you?
I'm thinking you're talking about like language, like what we're speaking, whether it's English, Spanish, like language.
Those are languages.
Yeah.
But language is, to me at least, any system created to express thought, emotion, belief, or reaction. And emphasis on system. That means there's a consistency. That's language. 10010010010, that's binary. That's language between computers.
Yeah.
Body language, sign language. It doesn't always have to be diction or words or like vocal.
Yeah.
I just meant language on that period.
I got you.
That's the only way the spirit can communicate with another spirit. And if you didn't zoom in to our languages, our most used languages like verbal words, if that's the case, the easiest way to break people is to fuck the language. Because now I don't even understand you.
Yeah. For sure.
Now you saying words that I'm hearing and what you're meaning and what I'm receiving is not the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a story. Babylon.
Yeah.
He was building up to God. And he strikes it down and jumbles up their languages. That wasn't God. That was a person who wanted to be God. And it was like, he uses understanding to his benefit. And one, he made it seem like it was God, so now we can't really argue it textually. And two, he got his job done. Like, bro, when we all spoke the same language, there was a time, had to be.
Yeah, no, when everybody spoke the same language, they was building a tower to God.
No, check me out. Like, no, listen. I'm erasing that story real quick and rewriting it for you. So, when we all spoke the same language, right? Say we was just how it looks today, like not God, no skydiving coming down like they said in the Garden of Eden. No, it's just how it looks today, but we all spoke the exact same language. The niggas in power will be in trouble.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trouble. If we could exactly understand exactly what the masses felt, thought, and believed on the same accord, we could easily overthrow a king who wanted to be a god.
Yeah.
So the easiest way.
There would be no physical embodiment of what a god possibly was.
So he was like, I'm about to just start fucking with the words.
Yeah, hey, so this is Jesus, and this is Jesus.
Yeah.
This is
Because now you're not going to know what the fuck each other is talking about. When somebody disrespecting Allah,
yeah.
shit, I'm not disrespecting Buddha. I'm not in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, a third of someone who's against me is out. I can disrespect these motherfucking Allahs now. I can kill these Muslims and the Buddhists and the Christians and not gonna whatever, even though I'm still killing y'all people. Because y'all don't even understand what I'm over here doing because I've already confused y'all. A God, a truly like God, a creator, the being that started, would not intentionally do anything like that. Wouldn't intentionally do anything. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that the story is about God doing something to stop humans from, God ain't scared of us. That was a person.
God sent a flood and flooded the entire land.
Why?
Like, for what?
What was the where it's like God is either all powerful or all good?
God is either all good or all powerful,
but can't
be both.
That's
and then that's how we wrap it up.
That's a question.
That was a quote.
Yeah, quote.
That's a quote. Neil deGrasse
Because
Tyson.
if God is
How
all
do you agree?
good,
How can God be all good and all powerful?
Because God writes the rules. Good and power come behind God, not in front of Him.
Touche.
Everything I do, whether we think is good, bad, right, or wrong, is right and good. Because I make the rules. You know what I'm saying? Everything I do is power because power is a reflection of me. Power is just the ability to bring something that you will to creation. God does that with everything. I am all powerful because everything is created by my will. So that's why.
how is it all good then?
Because everything I do is for the righteousness of my
Yeah,
laws.
like from a higher level.
There's nothing higher than me.
I'm saying,
God. You know?
I'm saying like from God's eye
that's
view.
where it is.
From God's eye view, it's all good. To us, it might look.
To God's eye, it's neither of those things. Good and power is only things we see. To God, it's just I am existing and I am expanding. I'm God. God is good to us. God is just God to God. And we the only thing that's calling it God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Call it good or bad.
Something can only be good and bad from our perspective. So something can only be all good and all powerful from our perspective. And whatever you deem is all good and all powerful is what you deem is God. You choose what God is. To you, some people pick money. Sometimes money is all good and all powerful to people.
Yeah, that's a fact. A lot of people.
We in control, bro. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. That was good though.
That was good.
There's so much more to talk about too. So much more.
That just means I better hear from you in like 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.